everyone, it's Spoonful for you, back at you again with another video. Now today I am reviewing Fear the Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 8. This review will contain spoilers, and wow, Dan's reviews actually loves this episode, so I don't have any rant today. But anyways, today we are talking about this episode. It was one of the most hyped episodes in years. We knew that we would have all the OG characters, Strand, Madison, Troy, Luciana, and Daniel in one episode. So it was very, very hyped. Now, we knew that Luciana would have a title card in this episode. So I was really excited for it because Luciana has never had a title card. I'm not really a big fan of Luciana, honestly. I thought she was okay in Season 2. But other than that, she's been a pretty wasteful character. I could live without Luciana, honestly, but it was cool that she was getting a title card. So not only does Luciana return, but Charlie returns back in the flesh. A lot of people predicted that Charlie would have like a flashback, but no, she's back in the flesh. Now, obviously, this storyline was probably never planned in the original Season 8, but we all know Season 8 was canceled. They brought back Kim Dickens, so they probably thought, you know what, let's give Charlie a storyline with Madison. Let's bring them back and finally resolve this conflict. I'm really, really happy they resolved it. So let's talk about the positives today. So the positives, I love Troy once again in this episode. He actually feels a lot more like Season 3 Troy this time. He talks a lot like, the classic Troy that we knew. Now, nothing against Troy in episode 7, but I think in episode 7 he was putting on this big persona, this tough persona. But his persona kind of cracks in this episode, and you see once again that Troy Otto is a very insecure man. He's a man that, he has a lot of baggage. He has a daughter now. Her name is Tracy. It's very interesting because Tracy is actually the name of his mother who was abusive. So that actually adds a lot of layers to this character. And you can tell that Troy is just a very broken man, and he will do whatever it takes to survive, even if it's bad. I love the first half of this episode where before Troy comes in, it's all of our characters, Madison, Strand, Luciana, and Daniel all talking together. It feels kind of like Marvel or something, straight out of the Avengers. But I really, really enjoyed these scenes because it had to do with, everything going on at Padre, the gas, and we needed this because now we know where Padre is getting their gas from. Now we know how Luciana saved Daniel in the swamp. A lot of stuff makes a lot of sense. I really do enjoy the cinematography in this episode. The cinematography looks great. It looks a little dark for some reason, but it still looks pretty great. I love the gas station. I love, Daniel taking charge. Daniel in this season is amazing. I think he is great. Ruben Blades in this season kills it. He's one of the best parts of Season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead. This is the best we've seen Daniel in the new version of Fear the Walking Dead since Season 4. This is definitely the best version we have ever gotten of Daniel since Season 3. It's a fully realized version of Daniel. This is the version of Daniel I always wanted back in the day. I always predicted, would it be cool if Daniel had an army? Well, now he does. So that's really cool. And I, of course, love the fight with Madison and Troy. And I really appreciate what they did with Charlie in this episode. Madison is, of course, pissed at Charlie. And Charlie actually does some heroic stuff. I was never a big fan of Charlie, of course. I thought she was just an okay character. But I really like how they handled it because obviously Madison would never kill Charlie. She's a 17-year-old, and I don't think they would kill Charlie off like that after all these years because there are Charlie fans. Now, if this was Season 4, I could see it happening, maybe Season 5, but we're on Season 8 now, so I don't think they would kill Charlie like that. It would piss a lot of the fans off, so I think this is the best way they handled it, where Charlie goes out, indirectly caused by Madison and Troy. I think that's great. And another positive, Charlie's death. It was actually handled very well. She actually commits suicide, which shocked a lot of people. I knew it was coming. I already read spoilers, but it shocked a lot of people because they brought Charlie back and then they killed her off in the same episode, which did have balls. I will give them that. It had balls. But ladies and gentlemen, Like I said, I enjoy the confrontations between Troy and Madison. It's revealed that, Troy's wife saved him from the rubble. There's something off about all this. I'm sure they're going to tell us a lot more later on in the season. But yeah, somebody saved Troy's life. There's predictions that maybe he's not telling the truth. Maybe it symbolizes that his wife is actually Alicia, that maybe she saved him, not like literally saved him from the dam, but saved his soul. Maybe he wandered upon Alicia and she saved his soul, gave him another chance. Maybe that's what he means. The version of him that made it out of the dam was a broken, crippled man, but she saved his life, at the tower, but not literally save him. Maybe he crawled his way out. Maybe he traveled around Mexico for a long, long time, but then was saved internally in his soul by Alicia. Because if you remember in episode 7, he did say he wandered around Mexico for a very, very long time. So that doesn't really add up. So he was saved by this woman, but he wandered around Mexico. There's something off about this. And when Troy says, "You took my wife from me," maybe that means that it symbolizes Madison wasn't there for Alicia. Maybe Madison wasn't strong enough for Alicia, and that's what got her separated or killed. So maybe that's what Troy means. So that's why Troy's pissed, because Madison's not there for her kids. She lost Nick, she lost Alicia, and that's what pisses Troy off. I think that could be a cool plot line, and maybe that's where the show's going. But let's get into the negatives now, the cons. Well, one con, once again, is Luciana. I am not a fan of Luciana. She was okay in this episode, but getting her own title card, it just felt like fan service, because this was not a Luciana episode. This was a Charlie episode, or a Troy episode. Luciana, once again, was in the background. Now, she took charge. She was a tough leader, but nothing really big on her character. I wish they developed her a lot more. But unfortunately, Luciana, once again, was just not doing it for me. She was okay. I wish they could have done a lot more with this character, but unfortunately, they did not. There's not many cons in this episode. I thought it was great. Another con I had was probably, I would say, just the lighting in this episode. I don't know what happened. Even in the behind-the-scenes photos and stuff, everything looked dark in this episode. But in the trailer, the Season 8 trailer, everything looked a lot brighter, which is very strange. I don't know if this was a problem by AMC. This is just a nitpick. It's not really a con. But other than that, what other cons do I have? Let me think. I mean, maybe the only con I had was it's too similar to episode 3 of the first half, where, Morgan runs off. Or is that episode 2? Sorry, that's episode 2. Yeah, it's really similar to the first half in episode 2, where Morgan runs off. He needs to do what he needs to do. It's kind of similar where Madison walks off, which is kind of cool, but it does make it a little bit repetitive. I don't want these characters doing the same thing over and over and over. So it does make it a tad bit repetitive in that department. So, Madison walks off just like Morgan walks off at the end of Season 8, Episode 2. And this is Season 8, Episode 8. So they're both the second episode of both halves. So it's kind of strange. But that's really a nitpick I have. It's not a big problem. But, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my review. I loved this episode. I would give it, honestly, a 9 out of 10. Actually, no, I would give it a perfect 10 out of 10. This episode gets a 10 out of 10. This is one of the best episodes we've had in Fear the Walking Dead in years. I think it's the best episode since Season 3, Episode 16. I'm not joking. I apologize if I don't sound enthusiastic about it. It's just, Halloween's coming up, so I'm really, really excited, and we have a skit coming up, so, my mind's elsewhere. But this episode, guys, kicked ass. Like, it was amazing. I was very, very impressed with this episode. I think it's going to be a top episode in the show. I think, when you get good writers, you see how it pays off. And I love Fear the Walking Dead, and I love this episode. So, 10 out of 10, in my personal opinion. Flawless episode. Really good. Hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye.